This Bentley right here actually has a straight frame. And these are still good. And this is the Bentley that we're working on that has very, very bad frame rails. And these are in very, very bad shape. Thinking that we can make a jig off from this Bentley so that it's nice and square, because we gotta figure out where the dimensions are on this Bentley to make sure that we get the frame rail straight. I didn't do too bad right there. Over here on the other hand, I completely missed it a couple times, but hey, look it, I'm not a welder. I can't weld. Okay, so we got it mounted here. Now we can weld in this. All mounting points, because if you remember this plate, this is also gonna need to be replaced. So that will help us also line that up. Let's do the other side. Okay, so now that we have this all built and it's looking sweet along there, the only thing I can see is that might potentially have a problem right there, but that's okay. We're gonna try it out. We're gonna check on the other Bentley. So we have the jig bolted up here. Up here, everything looks pretty good, but when we get down here, this is where I notice. So this frame rail really isn't that far over. It needs to come this way, obviously, and that way. It looks like it's just about an inch, so it looks like it's gotta go up, which, I mean, there's a kink there, but I'm wondering if I can cut that frame rail somehow and put it in here, but I'm not gonna do that just yet, because I'm gonna do some thinking on this. We have a template or a jig, something to reference on how this frame should be, and we tested it and seen how bad that it was and how far off that we were. I have a plan on how I'm gonna pull this frame. See, from a previous video, I had this actually bolted to the lift and I figured that it might work, but instead, now I took and welded this thing together and made this, so this lip is gonna go on the other side of the block. Okay, so here is the idea of the plan. So I chained that to that, which is gonna move that over when it puts tension, but should hold it right here just before the kink. I built this plate, got the clamp, got the winch around this old engine hoist, and then back to the F250 where that I think I can use the winch to pull all this and pull it out. Probably not gonna work, but you know what? Who cares? I don't care. I'm having fun. Let's see if this will work. Either that or we're gonna do some really cool damage to some stuff. So let's see what's gonna happen. Okay, so we got the frame rail straighter and it looks good, and it actually is lining up with the jig that I made, so that is a bonus. It doesn't look the best. I mean, it's still pretty bad. I haven't decided if I'm gonna cut that one out yet. Not really sure yet. This one, on the other hand, still pretty far off. We got a nice little kink and rip to the engine stand. It was gonna happen. But you see, I bought this new tool right here called the Rail Saver, and I think that this right here is gonna help a lot to save this frame. So, we're gonna try this, and hopefully it works. Hopefully, because this tool is not cheap. Okay, now we got the frame rail kind of straight, but as you can see, it's still a little messed up. So we're gonna cut the frame rails off from that, put some gussets on there, weld it in there. It will be stronger than what it is right now. The fenders that I've been working on forever and a day. I wanna make sure that everything's gonna line up when we do get these frame rails in here, because one wrong mistake and I'm in trouble. I'm gonna have to replace all these sections right here that are messed up. So on this second Bentley, as you can see, we have all the pieces that are nice, perfect condition that can go on here. So we're gonna have to start cutting these out. A little nervous.
Whoa, clear out the room, I'm coming through, they wanna see what I'm about. Yeah, I got skills, do it for the thrill, I'm on a paper route. Extra, read about it, I'm today's trying to top it. Commas over bullshit, yeah.
Okay, now that we got this front piece removed, I'm thinking that I could take this whole piece off from here as one. There's a lot of spot welds in here, but I think it just connects in here. I'm not sure. I gotta clean off all this seam sealer, see what's behind here. I mean, I can see the spot welds on where that they put them, but I'm gonna get to cleaning off this seam sealer. Okay, now we got all the seam sealer pretty much cleaned up where we can see where all the spot welds are. There's some underneath here. I will have to grind this out, but I'm gonna start removing some of these spot welds, and then I'll get working on this. I first wanna see how it's gonna come out. I'm just gonna start loosening up spot welds to see everything and go from there. And if you see right here, it kind of does look like Swiss cheese, and that's because Bentley, let me show you on this one, likes to run a bead of weld along all this. You can see right here and right here, which makes it difficult. Now see, I'm thinking that I have to remove this because, as you know, the jig that I made, it needs to be lined up, and I think that if we line this up, and then there's another piece, let me get that. So I got these pieces that go in here that are gonna help us line up everything. These should help us line up everything, make sure it's correct. But first, we gotta make sure that all this is good on both sides. Then we can bolt these in, then start working on that, because that is gonna be the most important. We gotta make sure that's right. We gotta do this now. So I'm gonna start drilling out all the spot welds. I am nervous about this. I'm not the best welder, but you know what? We're learning together. That's what this is about. And then, you know, we're gonna have this that we're gonna be welding on. We're gonna do it all. I mean, that's the point of this channel. Having fun building these cars, because I love these cars. And so, let's get on with this. We got this. We got this. Very patient and nervously. So we did get this off. I think that my camera stopped recording, unfortunately, but I wasn't too worried about getting this off in perfect condition, and I'm not gonna be worried about it on that side. But when we do the other side on that car, we're gonna be really careful with it because we want it to come out like that. But we did get this out. It's no good, it's done. Now we can start cleaning up all these welds, getting it prepped, getting it ready. and then there's like this wax stuff. So I'm gonna clear all that out of there, put down some primer, cover up all this, prep that, get that ready so that we can weld that onto there and hope that we do this correctly. Okay, so I went and cleaned up this and I used some weld through primer. I primered everything. I cleaned it all up, primered it. That should be all set. This has all been cleaned up and primered. This should be all set. Now, I think I have the welder dialed in. It took me a minute to get that figured out, but I think that we're time to weld it back on here, and we're gonna hope that this goes all right. Now, the one thing I did do is I hooked up this jig so that I know that it is lined up, and if you see right there, the hole is pretty much spot on. Now, I'll probably have to move this around. I'm gonna throw some tacks in here, I'll check it again, then I'll fully weld it out. But for right now, we're looking pretty good, pretty solid. I mean, there's probably gonna have to be some tweaking with this, but I mean, you can see where that the old spot weld is, so it goes right there, but I'm gonna throw some tacks on here and start getting this thing welded out because I think there's no turning back now. One piece in there, it is solid, everything is welded up. Maybe not the best welds, but hey, we're learning here. So I don't know what I can do, maybe skim it with some body filler, make it look a little bit better. Probably what I'm gonna do, I know I gotta get some seam sealer to run all in here and back here, because that's what they do at the factory. Might just seam sealer all of it. None of it's gonna be seen. I mean, all it's gonna do is just help it. So I think I'm gonna end the video right here because this is awesome, huge milestone, super happy. And I'm actually gonna jump into doing the next video because I'm gonna do the other side. And then hopefully we're gonna be able to test fenders. But if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you wanna see more of the Bentley build. And if you have any suggestions on the frame rails, on if I should be cutting them off from the parts car and re-welding them in here, be sure to leave that in the comments below. But you're awesome. Thanks for watching. Peace. Shit. Don't nick wires. That was my bad.